work on 13 by 19 inches. We're staying in CMYK. Anybody want to tell me the difference between the two color systems, RGB and CMYK?
You said that RGB is for online and CMYK is for printing.
Exactly.
But you should stay in CMYK because it's more versatile in a sort of way.
You can convert both of them. You can always convert both of them.
CMYK more.
But the reason why you like CMYK is because print is print. Print is a lot of a harder situation to get the right color. Screen time now, screen RGB is pretty universal. Any color goes well now. Wasn't the case many years ago, but now colors are pretty true to its form. But CMYK is always very different than what you see on the screen, than what you see printed. And that drives you crazy. So CMYK is more difficult once you go to a hard copy print of it. But it's what all printers need, like silkscreen people or t-shirt people, designers. So, but the important thing is knowing what's plugged and what's unplugged, electronic to print. The other important thing is to remember that 300 dpi resolution is really critical. And when you scan an image, if you want it to be bigger, double up the scanning. And we'll talk about scanning all by itself. So I've got 13 by 19, so I'm going to start this. And I think I said okay. Yep. It's going. And do you see a blank page? Right? So what we want to do, as soon as you save, and at this point, I would launch your Illustrator as well. And you probably have your t-shirt in there. Does anybody have any questions on the t-shirt assignment? So I'm assuming that the t-shirt is all done, and if I go to your blog, I can see it?
I have a question, but I'll ask you after class or break.
Naima, but about Illustrator, any questions on the t-shirt with Illustrator?
Yes, can you go over the steps on how to make the t-shirt? Like, I'm kind of confused how to add the color scheme in the t-shirt.
Okay.
Such like that.
Okay, good question. Let me just get to my file.
Just a basic question that you don't have to demonstrate anything. I just wanted to check. We didn't have to do the exact same t-shirt as you, right? Like if we wanted to pick a different t-shirt, we could.
Absolutely.
I was
Absolutely.
making sure.
Yeah, you can pick anything that you want to work from. I'm just kind of leading by example, to find things. But yeah, absolutely. Your selection is your critical thinking about, the aspect of what you want. So yeah, absolutely. Let me get to my fashion class. Here we go. So I'm going to call this T-shirt 01. Okay. And by default, you can just leave it. I'm also going to open up lots of teas that I want to show you. Okay, so yes, you can choose your t-shirt from anything that you find, which is what was the case here. So a couple of steps. Do we all remember when we want to import an image in, we use place, right? You want to place the photograph. Now, this could be your sketch that you scanned in or that you took with your phone or something that you downloaded, whatever it may be, you can certainly bring that in as a t-shirt that you want to do. So I'm just going to try to find something here as an image. Here we go. We'll just start with this. And let me go back. I'm going to go back to do that again, because I didn't take a look when I chose it. And what I'm showing you here is when you select this, be sure you don't have link on. Remember, if you have, and it by accident, see, I double checked myself because I forgot, was it toggled or was it not toggled? Initially, when you launch Illustrator, the default might have it toggled. Once you untoggle it, it should not be there the second time around. But so check that. Watch your steps on that, because that means that if this was linked, that means that the document, the AI document, only looks at that picture in the folder. It's actually not embedded. And if you go somewhere with that folder, it won't call it up. And that's a little bit of a dreadful situation. So that's what the place would do. And so in placing, as I did here, let's call up my layers. You can choose from the different images that you have brought in as an image. So I'm going to unlock it. And here is one image. Now on this one has the appearance down. So you see right here, the appearance is 34. I could bring that up if I wanted to be tracing it. So sometimes you like, it's too much of a distraction. So you want to make the photograph kind of disappear. And that is under appearance. So the thing to remember is that in your window here, let me see if I can close these out so it's not so confusing. Got a lot of windows up. Here we go. Now you can see. Up here in the upper left corner, most tools are under window. So, when you crack software, you literally want to go down and look at all the options. So very important to have your rulers. And remember, when you have your rulers on, always toggle that on. You can mouse down up on the ruler and bring down guides from the top and to the left. That helps you to align your designs that you might be working. Now, if you don't want those guides, you just come over here and clear the guides. Now, what I've done here, moving a little further as we go deeper and deeper into Illustrator, these are brushes, these are textures, is the page, the initial page I made was only one page. But if you click Artboard, you can make more pages. Now, what I'm missing up here is the horizontal windows, which have more information. So you want to come up here to Windows, Workspace, and do Essential Classic. And now all the windows are viewable. So it's very important to remember when you are cracking software that all the windows are accessible and viewable to you. So for instance, this page here is actually 13 by 21. So you can correct it. And do remember your space bar moves the page around. So if I wanted to make another artboard, I could. Now, the thing that we love about Illustrator versus in Photoshop is Illustrator lets you draw off the artboard. You don't have to draw on the board. You can kind of start doodling over here, and when the work is good, then you can bring it over. So that's why we love to be able to work in Illustrator, because you've got a huge canvas to sort of mess around until you bring in exactly what you want. So these are just basically brushes. You can design your own brushes. So there's lots of already designed brushes you can use, and you can start from scratch from there, and we'll do a brush session just on that. But really, what we want to do today is do the t-shirt to finish up that assignment. And then I want to talk about week 3 when we come back from our break. I'll look at your blogs that you've done for today, the ones that I have links for, and for the ones who did copy and paste their URL onto there. This way I can be able to see the t-shirt that you have done. So let's take this t-shirt. We've got about 10 more minutes. Any questions? And of course, remember, you can always interrupt me for a question. Okay? Those are the ground rules. You can interrupt me when I'm doing this.
I have a question.
Yeah.
My question is about the URL link to the homework assignment for February 1st. How do you submit the URL link to the website?
Well, let me get to a URL to show you. When you are on a web page, you just pick this up and email it to me. Copy paste it.
Okay, thank you.
And you can also copy paste it in the chat.
Okay, thank
You see, and then I will paste it on the blog that everyone else is on. And then this way we can kind of share, and I can see and make comments on what I see. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
I have to be honest with you. I don't think I would like the computer if I could not copy and paste. Way too much work. Way too much work. Would not be a fun experience. So I live for copy and paste. And just like I said about the color number down here, let me pick this up again. Control C or Command C, wherever Mac or PC you're on. And if I wanted that color, I bring over the toolbar as so. Let me get it so it's a little easier to see. And right here, if I wanted to make a box, so you can actually put a gradient on a stroke. That's very cool, especially if you have a textured brush. But right here, if I double click this, remember, this is your fill. This is your fill, and this is your stroke. So if I double click this, and right down here is your hexadecimal number. That is the number that I copied from here. And so I did tell you there is, I'll look at it at break time. I can't remember the name of it, but there is, and it's great for your phone, because I know, Crystal, I was telling you about doing the app on your phone. There's an app from Adobe where if you take a picture, it will take the 5 dominant colors. Awesome. Awesome app. One of the best. And so, remember, the palette is in your world. Just always take pictures. Always, always. So that's why that number right there, instead of picking up, double click, instead of picking up the CMYK number or the RGB number or any of these, so you can see these are the systems of color. Here's your RGB, and here is your CMYK. This is hue. Hue is color. S is saturation, how intense that color is. And B is the brightness. So you can, and again, you can turn this toggle off to be all the colors that you get, or as they say, some of the most generic colors for web. So I like to use web, but because web is very very absolute, where 1 pixel in this area can make a difference. So I could have a number that's 49%. It would change if I hit it to 50%. So that's really tricky. The other important thing about color to remember, always, 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 is to bring up your swatches. They're right over here. So swatches are very important to archive with the document, because if you try to ballpark to repeat the color, it will be off. And RGB may be more forgiving being on the screen, but it would not be forgiving on a print. You would see the distinction between the two. So just remember to always save your colors. So when you do hit a color, you find a color that you like, and you go, okay, I really like that color. You can drag and drop it into, from here, say, okay, and then drag and drop it into the swatch like this. And that's how you save your colors. Drag and drop it into the swatch. So whatever you choose up here, whether you choose it to go one way or the other, just be sure to save your colors. It's a good habit, one to never have to change. So that's the important aspect of that. So let's, we have only 2 more minutes now. So what we'll do when we come back, I'll take a look at the t-shirts that are on your blog now. Continue to work with just perusing the software as we get along. Before we get off, I'll just do this one pen tool. I'll trace this image right here and show you how fast you can go. Like right now, I can't find my layers. So go up to Windows. Where are my layers? Oh, they went away. Here they are. And I'm going to keep it here. Let's move this up. And I'm going to make sure this is locked. So my image is locked. I'm going to zoom in. I don't want it to be filled, so I turn it off. I want it to be green, so I use my pen tool. And you work really fast like this. Don't worry about the curves yet. You can do that later. And that didn't go on, so I'm going to pick it up and wait for that circle. Wait for that circle, tells you it is connected. And then you can come over here to your stroke, deselect, select again, bring that stroke down. I'll get it big enough so you can see it. And then you can, again, zoom in. And it's the Bezier curve, mouse down to the anchor. If you don't have any of these on the toolbox, it's because we need to select the 3 dots down here and the hamburger up here, and be sure you have advance. Then all the tools will be there for you. So this one is we call the Bezier curve. The Bezier curve is in just about every digital media program there is. And it will give you the ability to make your curves that you so want. And you can make the curve be one way or the other, or make it straight. And that's why we don't put so many on there, because we can use this Bezier curve to get some of the curves that we want. And that's why we go really fast. And unfortunately, and remember, the white arrow is the arrow to edit points. And you notice how quickly I move it like that, just so I can get a handle on it. Same thing with here. And a lot of that problem was because my stroke was so big, I wasn't really on the spot. Does anybody remember how to change one side of the Bezier curve? Anybody remember how to change one side of the Bezier curve? The Alt key. The Alt key down lets you change one side of the curve so the other side doesn't move. And that Bezier curve again, remember, when this curve is out, you can pull this out like this. And if you wanted this to be straight, you take that anchor and you click the handle. We call these handles. You click the handle right on the dot, and it will make it straight on one side and curved on the other. And that's sometimes what you want. And I